No
usually just
worries.
pretty quick.
No
It's usually
worries.
just hit random thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wait, this is must be what I did after this. Go back a little bit. I think I could find. So this is actually my other super light. It's
Okay.
my mouse pad and everything. So I have two super lights because I had the white one originally.
And then you got the red one because it's fancier.
Yeah, and because my old one was actually wearing down, kind of like the sides were starting to get marks because I used to grip my mouse pretty tight.
Okay, and you feel like you've gotten over that?
Yeah, I've started. Well, actually, I was gonna talk to you about it. So my what I started doing was in Apex specifically because I used to just kind of grip the mouse inward with my pinky, ring finger, and thumb, like just to like
Yeah.
gain more of a precision on the mouse with the mouse.
hmm
Well, what I changed was I actually changed it so that I now have toggle ADS on. And what
I've been
it
using that
what
for a little while now.
you said you've been on it a while now?
Yeah, I don't really play Apex ever, but I have used Toggle ADS and especially in Siege, which actually now I don't really play either much, but like it was a big thing back when I played Siege. I liked Toggle ADS.
Yeah. Yeah, toggle for me, like I don't know what it is, but when I hold down like left or right, or when I hold right click to ADS essentially,
hmm
it adds pressure, which sometimes kind of throws me off, makes me a little less smooth.
hmm
So doing toggle was a little bit better for smoothness
hmm
in certain scenarios. But
Sense.
I don't know. In fact, one there was one point where what I used to do was I pressed down my mouse like a downward force
Yeah.
from like trying to think how to explain it. Like I would kind of grip it in, but then I would like press down with the sides of my fingers,
Uh
and
huh.
it would give me an extra sense of control and like I guess added friction.
Okay. Yeah, I've
So
heard of that. Have you ever heard of people like dragging like the edges of their fingers along the mouse pad and like pressing into them to stop?
yeah, I've tried that. I feel somewhat inconsistent when I do that.
I feel like it'd be very hard to
But
play Apex like that because that's not really how you'd aim in Apex. It'd really just be a static strategy.
yeah, actually, that's exactly what I think it's helped me most with would be like static.
Do you still use it in static?
Not really. Like I don't really do a ton of static. I actually focus a lot more on just reactive tracking, smoothness,
That's fair.
some target switch.
That's fair. Now I forget you had
What do you say?
you. I'm just trying to remember. You had no one Nova in reactive and everything else was one GM in each category, and you only had
Yeah.
one score for each category. Was that just because you
Yeah,
didn't
I
feel like
just
writing the other one?
yeah, I basically just didn't really play the other ones. Like I would just hit a GM usually
Okay.
and just not really play them. But
Is all your aim training just benchmark grinding pretty much?
it used to be. It's not anymore though. Like I'm trying to think of a timeline here. So basically every day I aim trained for I want to say 2 years at this point. What I do though is I'll run like scenarios that I'll hear like good aimers say are good ones, which it's kind of hard to just. I mean, I guess there's just a lot of them, but I've also like paid for routines from like Aimer Seven, and
Uh huh.
I've gotten like aim coaching done by him and stuff.
Uh
So
huh. How'd you like that?
I thought that was pretty productive. Like I thought I improved quite a lot from that actually.
Yeah, I heard
I've done
he's
it twice,
helpful.
definitely. Yeah. But no, I what I used to do actually a while ago, when I was first getting into it, is I used to just grind the Sparky benchmarks,
hmm
and eventually, like, I would just improve by just playing the benchmarks. But I do think it was kind of maybe a waste of time sometimes, just grinding them over and over.
Yeah, I feel like you should usually start with like a specific issue you want to fix and then pick scenarios that kind of help you expose that issue for a specific level and just I mean what I think they had 3 sends per category in the same categories overall back then. So
Yep.
still 18 scenarios like it's very hard to do that in 18 scenarios. Like even if you do quote unquote target your weaknesses, you're really just targeting scores that are like lower than other scores. And then also I found like
Yeah, exactly.
I've tried to make benchmarks in the past, specifically like, and I've worked with other people on them. And after trying to make benchmarks, the more I make them, the less faith I have in benchmarks. To be honest with you, just overall,
Yeah,
there's
I
just
see what you mean.
too many variables. Like you probably noticed, like those reactive tracking scenarios. I don't know. Your Nova scores. I think these ones were. I haven't actually played the season fours much at all. I think I have like a entry or two on each scenario. But for Nova, isn't like 50% accuracy or something for Nova on that sun? Or no, that sun got reworked
Uh,
like 20 times. I don't even know what it is.
yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I'll agree that like they're kind of RNG, the reactive ones
Yeah.
specifically. I would say they're very RNG. Like you could get a bot that just trolls you essentially.
Oh yeah, that was the issue with it. It's like got that one long strafe if it just stays on the long strafe because there's
Yeah,
nothing keeping it. Yeah.
yeah, they're bad sometimes, but
You
yeah.
ever seen Stark LN? I think he had the world record in that sun for a bit, and
Oh
he,
no, I'm not. I think I've seen him on a leaderboard, but I don't
yeah,
think I've watched him.
no, he doesn't really. His most of his vods are unlisted, but we had like a hour long phone call one morning. It was like 1 a.m. I was like, I got a 9 a.m. class. He was like, no, let me go. And he literally ranted to me for like an hour at 1 a.m. when I had a 9 a.m. class about how bad that scenario was because of that long strafe. It was pretty funny. All right, let's switch to Kovacs.
Go back. All right.
Yeah, show me that.
Yeah, I was trying to think how I wanted to do it. So, because I do have a hand cam, but I think it like bugs out when I do it on Discord. Let me see.
Huh?
I was trying to see if I could just stream the. Hold on. If I stream my other screen where I have OBS open, I wanted to see if that would be. Not sure if I can do full screen. Can you see like the hand cam with enough detail in that?
In the stream. Oh yeah,
Oh
that
wait,
should be
yeah,
fine. That should be fine.
it should be good. Okay.
Yeah, usually 9 out of 10 times when I need a hand cam, it's I'm not saying always, but a lot of the time hand cams are used for like newer players.
Oh, okay. So you don't even need it
I
for
mean,
like.
I helps it in case I notice anything, but usually it's when someone's like it's
Making a
most
fadeaway
useful
or
then. I mean, every now and then it's but yeah, this will probably mostly focus on your technique. I might look a little bit into it, but like yeah.
okay.
And let's see, let's just look at that reactive Sun of Nova. I don't even know what it's like. Isn't it like VT
Uh,
Plaza or something?
VT Plaza
Is that
Advanced,
what
I
it's called?
think.
Whatever one you've Nova, let's take a peek at it.
Okay. Hold up. I gotta. I think it's this. Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, you're 2 points behind Stark on this. He got
Oh,
the
really?
world record in like right when it launched, so he probably fell off a lot. And he hasn't played it since. He actually hasn't
Jeez.
even played Kovacs in like 4 months.
Like that's cheated.
Chris, yeah.
The top.
Usually you can just tell if it's cheated. Like, are they above Maddie? If so, have you seen him on Twitter? If not, they're a
Yeah.
cheater. Any chance you can like make it so that it's your OB instead of your OBS showing it's your actual screen, like create a virtual camera and then
Yeah.
show that camera?
Hold on. I can just stream my screen.
All right, that works.
Yeah. Hold on.
That works.
All right, so you can
Well,
see it.
yeah, that's more clear. You got a reason for aiming at the feet of the bot?
Honestly, just kind of something I've done for a while. I don't know, maybe it's a bad habit, but when I'm in Kovac specifically, I tend to do that sometimes. I don't really know why. You want me to do it again?
Yeah, it's. I've got an idea for him, but I'm struggling to tell if it's just the 30 FPS from Discord stream or if it's actually. Do you have a VOD of this on YouTube that's like 60 FPS by any chance?
Not this one.
All
I
right, that's
actually
fine.
didn't even get it recorded when I
That's
hit
fine.
the Nova score.
So tell me about the short strafes. When I watch you do a short strafe, it looks like it's really just the 30 FPS and the fact that I can't slow this down that's causing this issue. But when I see a short strafe, it seems like you're just going back and forth, like almost like a new player seeing CFSI for the first time.
Yeah, like getting overwhelmed.
Is-
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I think I do a little bit of predicting sometimes,
Mhm.
and also, well, actually, there's one thing I definitely have an issue with here, which is when I go to flick to the bot, like to correct,
Mhm.
I tend to like over flick a lot. Like even in my static, I over flick quite a lot, and I think that could be part of the problem. Is like when I go to flick back to it, I kind of like over flick, and then I try to correct for that, and it kind of just looks like I'm going back and forth a
Mhm.
little much.
Yeah, I agree with that. Can you go to CFSI real quick?
So, is it close, fast, strafe,
Yep. Close fast
invincible?
trace invincible. Uh, third, yeah,
This
fourth
one.
one down. Yeah. Just see how this looks
Wait,
for you.
what? All right. I was actually at
Oh, you're
90
on
FPS
90
this one.
Overwatch. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's because I was doing my training for what is it? Smoothness. Yeah, I forgot about that. Kind of ran off the mouse pad there for a second.
Pause it, quit the challenge real quick, and show me one while six target small. Just it's literally the top scenario.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so yeah.
Ugh. Okay, we'll have more to get into for a minute, but I just want to see how your initial flicks looked first. Now,
Yeah.
just to compare that to the pace of your getting back onto a target in a short strafe, and it's like you're basically doing a full-on static flick whenever you're off target in a short strafe, right? And
Yeah.
that is why you feel that over flicking thing.
Yeah.
Have
So
you
you're
ever
saying like I'm flicking too fast to get back on target?
you're not being smooth enough in the short strafes, right? So that
Okay.
makes sense. Like if you go back into
So I'm like,
CFSI,
so it's like I'm breaking my smoothness by like trying to flick back on.
yeah, pretty much. Like you're falling off the target. Like you're watching some new player play Glider Goated or something. They're trailing the bot, trailing the bot. You don't tell them to flick onto it. You tell them to like smoothly accelerate back onto it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
It's pretty much the same concept applies here. Just you smoothly accelerate, and obviously can be very fast. Like it can be as fast as you're doing it. Just going a little bit slower will probably
I
make it a
see
lot
what you're
easier.
saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you want me to do right now?
Just play CFSI and try it.
Okay. I'm in the bottom of my mouse pad. There
Yeah.
we go. So was that better? Or was
I
I
felt
kind of
like it
still doing
was.
it?
I felt like it was better, but it was definitely, especially where I can only see it on 30 FPS at 1x speed. It's definitely just like a bit of a. You kind of get to tell me how it feels for you. Like, do you feel like you're getting lost on the close strafes or the short strafes, or do
Uh,
you feel like you're being a bit smoother? And it's a practice thing too. Like, you gotta keep doing it, and seeing how you progress.
yeah, I definitely think it would help. I think it's just maybe I just need to work on it because I would say I'm probably losing points doing it
Yo,
this
for
way
sure.
just
You go
because like
past
maybe
it.
I'm slower to decelerating,
Oh,
accelerating
you feel like you're
it.
losing points to the new method?
Yeah, only because like I guess my other method is more like just try to flick back as quick as I can and then go back to smooth, but like don't I don't know. It's I'm trying to think how to explain it.
I think I see
Like
what you're saying. You're saying like this is like taking too long to get back on target.
yeah, like it's taking more time. Not like it's too long. It's just like it is taking more time in my opinion from what I'm seeing, which I
All
think
right,
is less time on target total,
you. That's definitely the. It's
but it
definitely
might be a
possible,
better
especially where
habit.
you just tried doing it like now. But if you practice this, say for a week or two, then what you might start to notice is that you'll after like a because right now you're still getting the balance. You might notice after a week you're getting back on target pretty much as fast as you were, but now you're not over flicking then shaking around, and you'll probably get a bit better with reading the short strafes just because you're practicing doing it more effectively, right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do think it could be a better. It's probably a better
Yeah,
habit,
so if
but
you just train
yeah,
this
it
for a
should
few
work
weeks,
out.
and if not, I mean, your other technique, it's always available to farm. And I mean, you never know, you might get that one run where the bot in the voltaic scenario never even does the short strafe. All of a sudden, you got the world record just off luck.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to the static scenario. And I'd say you're, yeah, I definitely see that you're significantly worse at static.
Yeah. I feel like my precision is pretty
Oh,
bad,
for sure.
honestly. Gotta work on that.
You ever watch Bardos play static?
Yeah, where he like flicks near it and then corrects. Um,
That's what he says he does, but you ever actually watch him do it?
uh, I don't, not really, not in depth.
It's not really. Here, I'm gonna pull it up, and the stream won't be able to see it because I can't really watch YouTube videos on stream, but I'll share it to you. Uh,
Okay.
Bardos, one wall, six targets, small world record. I think this one is what he has listed as the current world record. It's not. Oh, there we go. The 1790. This is what I want to say. So now, if you watch in one speed, you might be like, where'd the micro adjustment go? Like, you may not actually see it. And then when you watch it in, where's the playback
Did
speed?
you
There we go.
did you send it to me
Oh,
specifically,
am I
or
not
did you
screen
send
sharing?
it? Wait, you might be. Hang on. Oh, yep. Sorry. Yeah, I see it now.
All right, cool.
See what you're... Okay.
So we watch it in one speed, right?
Yep.
It, now, the first time I saw this, now I kind of see it because I know what to look for. But the first time I saw it in one speed, it looked like, where's the micro adjustment, right?
Yep. Yeah, I know. That is kind of...
The second thing, like, I mean, he hypes it up. Where is it? The second, when you put it in point 0.5 speed, watch, you actually see it, but you'll also notice that
Very
there
good
isn't
point.
really much of a pause between the micro adjustment and the flick. A lot of times they're one motion. And I feel like it was more so in another one of his VODs. Hold on, let me find. This is the 1790. Let's
Would you say
see.
that's... It's almost like he's dynamic clicking them?
Not dynamic. No, because the dynamic clicking technique would be more of a smooth interception. This is a lot
Yeah.
more of a, it's still a micro adjustment, a flick and a micro adjustment. And he does pause a little bit here more than,
Yep.
but that's why let's look at a cartoon VOD real quick. I feel like cartoon might be a bit better because Bardos is definitely not, his initial flicks are definitely significantly better than his micros. So let's look at this cartoon VOD and see what it looks like. Because I did like that. There we go, 1890. This is a scene.
And he
You'll
looks
see
like...
there's the
Okay.
micro, and
Yeah.
sometimes he pauses before it, sometimes he doesn't. Right? Like right there, that was like a decelerate, but he never actually stopped the micro adjust. And on the
Yeah.
close clusters, there is no micro adjustment at all. It's just flick. So you'll see in the bottom right, he's going to flick to those. And I haven't seen this VOD before, but I doubt there will be a micro adjustment between those two bots.
Yeah,
Yep.
like the mic. Yeah, I see what
No
you're
micro
saying.
adjustment.
Like the clusters.
Yep. You'll see flicks. He micro adjusts. Those won't have him. Oh, no, wait. If I were him, I would have gone for the vertical, but that just spawned. So we're seeing it 0.25. So probably more easy. But basically, what this looks like for you instead is you full send your mouse, and honestly, your initial flick's not bad at all. You get pretty close to doing all right with them.
Yep.
And then what happens is all of a sudden you just start shaking, you're out of control. You try to stop your mouse, you're struggling to actually slow it down to a point where you can micro adjust, whether it be stop the mouse and then adjust, or decelerate and then just land on the target intuitively, right?
Yeah, so my deceleration's just bad, what you're
It's
saying.
it's definitely bad and it's unstable. So let's try and get a bit. So if you could work on that, that would definitely help a decent bit.
I think if I could just like, I don't know, maybe just try to get a top speed and then like slow,
Here,
just
think about it like
focus on.
this. Every flick, it is actually looking a lot better. Every flick, think after it happens, think how shaky was that micro adjustment, and are you able to tell like the difference between just like your fingers not being in control, which seems not to be much of an issue at all for you, and like the shaking coming from you're just struggling with stopping the mouse, and it's just everything's out of control. If you know what I mean,
Yeah,
are you able to feel that
definitely.
difference? If you're able to feel that difference, then you can just kind of look and say, was this affecting me or was it not affecting me? Every rep, and just yeah. So let's see that again.
Yeah, I'm trying to like focus on actively decelerating, like at a steady rate, or I don't know, just to an extent where, like you said, I'm not like just trying to dead stop at the end and
Yeah,
kind of
and I
like
mean,
freaking out a little bit.
don't get me wrong, go too far with the deceleration, all of a sudden you're not flicking, you're like smoothly tracking between the targets, and that'll hurt your
Yep.
scores probably as much as the shaking issue. So you definitely still want to be able to like just work on the stopping power. I feel like that was the main thing I didn't like about fingertip on the super light. It was like too
Oh,
much
really?
mouse to stop with 5 small points of contact, which is why I now run the HSK Pro Ace,
Gotcha. Okay.
25 grams of pure terror.
Well, actually, I wanted to bring something up if we were going to go over static. So season three of Voltaic, I was Grandmaster, and now one of the things I did to get Grandmaster was I reached Grandmaster static. The way I did it, I it was like a 130 on one wall forward target. What I did was I just pressed my mouse into the pad, and it kind of like, hold on, I'm trying to see if I could do it
Gave
now.
you the stopping power you struggle with.
Yeah, it kind of added to my precision, added more friction,
That's a
and I think I
technique.
used more arm.
It's definitely a. I feel like the risk of that technique is it could really tire you out very easily.
Yeah, I agree. It's
So
definitely more strenuous.
it's. But it's not like no one ever uses unsustainable techniques. You probably noticed that buckshot guy, Buck, whatever his Kovacs username is, I kind of forget, at the top of
Yeah.
the reactive leaderboards. He's got this strategy that he uses where he'll basically tense his muscles up for a brief period of time, like one bot, he'll himself up, and he kind of like
Oh,
plans
really?
out his when he tenses because he's found that it helps him be more smooth, more precise, and all that stuff. Right? He's got a whole
Yep.
9 page like document on his Twitter about it. If you want to ever look at it, I can link you to it.
Actually sounds interesting.
It is pretty cool, and it's like a spaced out 9 pages. It takes 10 minutes to read, not even. Um,
Okay.
I'll send it to you right now. Not,
Yeah, that
but
definitely will read into that.
yeah, it's very good read in my opinion.
Yeah, well, another thing too with this is like if I were sitting here doing static like beforehand, I probably would be doing better. It's just like basically I haven't played it in a couple days,
Yeah, no
so I'm like
worries.
very cold or I guess not warm with it.
No worries. You see how when you get close to the target, there's like that unnecessary motion between your flick and your micro adjustment, right?
Like it'll almost like go another direction unnecessarily.
It'll
I
just
think I
shake. And
yeah.
don't get me wrong, I get that that's just you're struggling to stop the mouse. I've had the same issue. It's just, are you aware of it?
It's kind of
No problem.
um not really honestly sometimes I think I did a good one but then I just get a bad score and I'm like, all right, well I must have done something wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like yeah, that's probably what it is. Probably just unnecessary motion, I'm assuming in
That
those
unnecessary
instances.
motion just shakes because you're moving so fast and you can't move. And it looks pretty similar to just struggling with micro adjustments, needing to work on those, but it's different.
Okay.
It's like struggling with stopping. So I feel like that's definitely the main thing you should be working on. And I got
Yeah,
some.
I think so.
I got another scenario I want you to try out that I
Okay.
usually use when I'm trying to work on stopping. Search up wide wall three targets Pokeball.
Are there spaces?
Yeah,
Okay. Wide wall 3.
it's on the actual wide wall map, not the season three one. Top one.
Top one. So,
See how the target's super easy to get, but you still it's like it's a massive target, but you still have that shaking issue from one wall, six target small.
yeah.
That's not because your GM precise tracking, Nova reactive tracking hand can't handle the size of that target and micro adjusting onto it. It's because you're struggling to stop your mouse. So it really lets you isolate that one skill.
Oh, so the scenario's like helping me to work on that
Learn to
skill.
stop, yeah. Because if you have a if you can stop smoothly, consistently in the scenario, then anytime you struggle with what looks like a shakiness and 106 target small while moving at the same speed you move in the scenario, you will have what's it called? That will be a precision issue, not a stopping power capping you. And and precision really is not capping you at all right now. So you can
Oh, so
definitely
you're saying, so my problem is not precision, it's just straight up stopping the
yeah.
mouse.
I
Okay.
watched you like when you were when you were like going a lot more smooth, your micros immediately fixed themselves. And you can't go smooth and static either because then you're too slow. So you really just got to
Yeah.
confront this issue and work on it and fix it.
Just work on stopping. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I do get a slight boost when I like kind of dig my I think it's like my pinky is usually what I would use. I could try doing a little bit.
Yeah, that's good way to think about it is you got a flick and you got a micro adjustment, but you can't do either if or you can't do it fast if in between the two there's like a segment where your mouse is just vibrating around while you try to stop.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Let's see.
Yeah, see like the reason I don't like doing like my fingers on the mouse pad is because I feel like it kind of messes with my micro corrections and
Uh,
it's definitely my tracking.
yeah, I can see that.
Uh
Yeah, you definitely would not do that when you're tracking if even if you use it during static. It's like, all right, nice. So let's hit done.
okay.
I feel like stopping power is hard capping your static right now, so that should be for static scores. You need to work on stopping power. Work
All right.
on stopping. power. But that's also static scores, which are useful for the sake of saying you have a score in a static scenario, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
So
much.
those probably shouldn't dominate your training unless you're like Bulldog Mini Cartoon Europe and just want to say, I have a
Yeah,
score in a static scenario.
I agree.
So that one's really up to you how much, what percent of your time you want to spend on that.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like although I know static is definitely a weakness of mine, I think I want to work on kind of like stuff pertaining more to Apex. So probably like reactive tracking, maybe
Hmm.
smoothness tracking.
I mean, you can still work on this just for like a certain percent of your time, like 10% of your time,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, I agree.
So just give me a number and I'll tell you, like 10% of your time sound good?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
that would
cool.
work.
And how long do you train in a day?
Um, it depends, but typically, I think so. What I've been doing recently for the past maybe month is I've been training for at least 2 hours a day.
Okay.
I usually do like say one of my Aimer 7 routines, which I actually just got a new one recently, but I was planning on kind of just leaving that aside while we did this. But
I could, hmm, one of your Aimer 7 routines. All right. Um, hmm.
yeah, like I could kind of just put it off for like after this lesson is over
How
with
long does it
though.
take?
I was thinking. Um I want to say it's like about 90 minutes, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would kind of intrude on this though.
Are
So,
you allowed to tell me what's in it?
um I'm not I
Probably not.
feel bad kind of,
Is it,
just
does he
revealing the
reuse
whole
the same
document.
playlists for multiple people?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
this is one of the specified like one of his ones he sells, so I kind of feel
Okay.
bad giving it
Yeah,
away.
so no, you don't have to give it away. I'm just thinking like that's fine. That's fine. I'm just thinking.
But I'll just say that it's basically it's a the one he gave me specifically is a lot of reactive tracking, dodge tracking, like strafe tracking and whatnot, strafe aim.
Oh, that's pretty
It's
cool.
basically tracking Overwatch type uh playlist.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Um, all right. So, is there a lot of the short strafe pattern in it that you get to work on?
Yeah, definitely. There's pretty quick strafing bots in it.
All right, cool. So, honestly, the main most important thing is that you have scenarios to work on your weaknesses. So, if you want to run that, if you're able to work on the things we're talking about in that playlist,
Yeah.
then I don't really need then like I'm fine with you running that and not or making you less playlists. Like I could, if that takes 90 minutes and you train at least 2 hours a day, I could have like a static play. I could make like half an hour long playlists to fill in like the gap after that. We could do like 30-minute static playlist, maybe one in every, let's see, where right now that would be 1/4. So if we did it 2 out of every 5 days, that'd be 10% of your time.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
that would work.
and then like 30 min static. And then,
Yeah, either way though. Like I'm okay with if you wanted to make like a whole separate routine so that you knew exactly what I was doing. I'd
uh,
be completely fine with doing that. Just
uh,
putting this to the side.
I have done it in the past where I've had like people who've gone to other coaches and gotten like playlists that take up like half of their training time. And honestly, it makes it easier because like after a certain amount of time, it's hard to like find diverse scenarios. Like 2 hour long playlists for a couple specific issues are kind of annoying to make because like,
Yeah.
so I would not be opposed to
All right.
like just giving you 30-minute playlists that you can
Okay.
work on stuff with. So let's look at extra control sphere real quick. I want to see how a lot of times it's EX extra.
Oh,
Yeah. A
sorry.
lot of times people who yeah, that one. A lot of times people who what's the word I'm looking for? Play Apex and grind benches tend to suck when they play against targets that are like the actual size of people 20 meters away in game, which I'd say is probably
Yeah.
around this. That was like the first, that was like kind of my intent when I asked you, do you grind benchmarks a lot of the time? Because
Yeah.
like I've had people who just grind benches all day, like RA Divine score, and is always hitting body shots in Overwatch, body shot machine. I'm like,
Yeah, I
what?
see what you mean.
I'm not
So it
sure
looks
how
like they have
familiar
good.
you are with Overwatch, but do you know who IOStux is, the Overwatch coach?
No, I'm not sure who that is.
No. It's just this random guy who like actually coaches Overwatch, not um yeah, I definitely would not consider your first score. I don't know how long ago did you like reset your Kovacs, move it in a drive or whatever so that your scores aren't locally saved anymore?
Um, maybe 4 or 5 months ago,
So that
I
score's
want to
more than
say.
5 months old. Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's probably pretty old. I'm not sure if it has actually. It might show me on the one thing. No, actually, I
No, it
don't.
won't, because if it's not on the graph, then that means
I
it's
will
pre an update.
I will tell you one thing. I know that this score I was able to hit within like a day or two because I remember when I played this scenario, I played it for like 2 days. So I don't know if that
Were you
changes
more
anything.
familiar with smaller scenarios back then? That would have been.
Uh, I think I think the only really smaller scenario I did back then was like Passu small reload, but like I think what I was doing those like couple days was I was playing like these type of scenarios like control sphere and smooth sphere, and I kind of like just built up I don't know, I guess I just trained around this specific scenario because I just wanted to grind these for some reason. I thought they were
Okay,
fun
so
or
that was more
something.
of a bot pattern understanding score than a precise
Yeah, and
motions kind
kind
of
of
score. Because like
probably
what I'm
just
seeing
landed this
here
scenario.
is definitely some shakes. Like it looks almost like you're static did when I
Yep.
first saw it. And then every now and then it seems like you'll just have like what's the right word? You'll like arthritis like a centimeter away from the bot. Arthritis. Like
Yeah.
like so that's definitely wouldn't matter in a VT Plaza Advanced where the bot's like four of these across, but in Apex where this is a head and you can't hit it. Doesn't matter if you're literally like facing away from the guy or like slightly off. It doesn't make a difference. You're still not going to get the kill. So
Yep.
that's just kind of the point of smaller scenarios.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
How comfortable do you feel like high ground, low ground and that kind of stuff? Some people feel like it makes aiming 100 times harder for them. So, and I didn't see much of it in your Apex clip, so I don't know. Like sometimes people like are fine with it.
I know that I can aim like track people in like say if I'm high ground they're low or they're high and I'm low. Like I've done it time and time again, but I mean it's definitely harder. I wouldn't say it's like as easy as normal, but I don't know.
Do you have
I can
high
do
ground,
it.
low ground training on that playlist?
I actually do. It's specifically where I'm on high ground and the target's low ground.
No
And
reverse.
before I, I'm trying to think. I'm not sure if I do in this playlist, but I had been grinding one before this that was the other way around, where I was low ground and I was hitting something that was high ground. Trying to think though. Yeah, I'll give you one scenario that's in it. This might not be as much of. Hold on, I have to. I'll open it up quick. It's like ground plaza dodge uneven, no UFO. That's not a great example of it, but that's one of them that where basically like you're going in some sense like in some cases you're going downward and the bot's like up above you, and then there's other cases where the bot's below you and you're above it and you're like tracking it the whole time while moving.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that might be an example of that, yeah.
I don't know if you, since it didn't come up, I'm just thinking of it. Like, if you feel like it's a weakness, I got a few scenarios that I like to train that. Not a ton, but I got a few that I like for that. Um, so yeah, I could definitely give you some of those in the routine. 30 minutes of, let's see, I'm gonna make a one of your 30 minutes small tracking playlist, which will
Okay.
basically just be people's head when they're kind of far away, but not so far away that you wouldn't even go for the fight. Stuff like this.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Um, and then I'll probably do 30 minutes of strafe training. Not really strafe training, but like strafe type tracking. Actually, hold on a second. Let's look at one other thing I want to see. Let's see you play some evasive switching scenarios.
Okay. So
Um,
I'm not completely familiar. What would be like an example though?
let's check out Stark TS. Let's do the
Is
normal
this
one.
it?
You can handle the normal one, I think. Unless we made this. No, this is reasonable for you. It's the target switching. Show me a kin TS, but not the main kin TS. Search up kin
So
TS, and then see if the one I want to see pops up. Uh, press space and oh wait, no, I see it. Small 300%.
Voltaic small
Yep.
300. Okay.
So you're playing Apex, right?
Yep.
And you see someone who's kind of like a distance where you got to flick to them, right? They're not right in your crosshair. So you
Yep.
make that motion, and they're moving around because they're not new to the game. So they're like doing movement and stuff. So you flick to them, you stop, and then all of a sudden you're off target. And then all of a sudden you have to accelerate like you're in a tracking scenario to get onto them, or even your tracking scenarios. A lot of times you'll flick in those cases. So you might even flick a second time. So then all of a sudden you flick the second time, you're finally kind of on them, and then you start tracking them, right?
Yep.
So why does there need to be all those extra steps? Why can't you just flick to the guy and then track them immediately after? Just like your flick ends as the tracking begins. There's no stop. Like the quote unquote stop is actually just transitioning your speed from whatever it is to whatever speed the guy's going at, right?
Yeah. I feel like I mean that stop the whole like stopping issue I think is definitely a big part of that, but also there might be some precision issues there. Like I don't know. I feel like trying to flick like here I'll try to flick like right on. I feel like I tend to just flick kind of like near it, not necessarily.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just have a problem doing that. Like I've always tried, but
All right.
I
I
don't
did
know.
notice you doing it not in the start test, but in this scenario, in this time, some of the time you would do it, right?
Yep.
And hold on a second. Let me just think for a second. So it wasn't like you were doing anything. Oh, nice. You're almost beating. See the guy. I don't want to swear on stream because Oh, we actually have a bunch of relevant people right above you. That guy's like two or three on the aim lab benchmarks.
This guy?
Yeah. And then two below him is, remember when I was telling you there was the guy with divine scores who can't aim an actual in or was always hitting body
Oh,
shots before I worked with him?
yep.
That's that
Yep.
guy. Or at least I think.
Okay. I'm
And then
convinced I could beat this score too.
oh, for sure. I mean, I guarantee they haven't really put much effort into that score. It's kind of a random scenario. 700 entries.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, you got a bunch of people. Probably. Oh, this is, yeah, no one's played this since Yams was the best aimer.
Okay.
It's funny.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
That was probably almost a year ago by now, before Maddie supremacy became the trend. But yeah, just try and
Yeah,
work on like transitioning your flick from a flick to a target switch like much more easily. And that'll help you a lot in this. Probably also a lot in dynamic clicking. Like I'm guessing your dynamic clicking is just a combination of flicks until you eventually get on it. Which if you can
I
smooth.
I believe a lot of my dynamic clicking is kind of just like tracking the target and smoothly and then clicking on it from
All right, we
from
will definitely look into dynamic clicking next session because we're already overtime and I want to finish this issue
okay.
first.
No problem.
Um, I don't want to because I feel like the dynamic clicking, if we break it out now, we could be here another half hour. And
Yeah, I get that. I
yeah,
appreciate your time.
no worry. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if you didn't have the training plan, I might have done it and actually like looked into. But where we're gonna be back with another session soon,
Okay.
I don't see the issue. And also, I don't want to give you too many things to work on. You got the Haunter friend. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I friended him like yesterday and he actually added me again.
I have like 50 requests. I just ignore them all. I don't, I only want my Steam friends to be people I play games with.
Yeah, I could see that. I used to be like that and then I kind of I don't know. At some point gave up. I was like whatever. Just start friending people.
Yeah. So let's see. 30 minutes of evasive. So for these, I think you get what you have to work on. You just gotta make it so that you transition from the flick to the track easily.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I've
And
got a
then,
couple tips already from this session.
nice, nice. 90 min and aims. And yeah, you can work on the Aimer 7 stuff. And
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Any questions you have? Any other things you wanted to get out of this before we?
Um, I don't think so. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, but yeah, I don't know.
All right, cool, cool. We will definitely get into the what am I trying to say? The errors you have with
It's like stopping and stuff, yeah, and then
yeah.
transitioning.
Yeah, perfect. We'll definitely get into or not even that. We'll get into your dynamic clicking and try and like take a deeper dive in that next session. And yeah, you can send me and for the VOD, we will do let's see, VOD. For your VOD, I
Oh
want to
yeah,
look at one wall, six target small. I'll send you over this. You won't need to write it down. I want to look
okay.
at CFSI. I want to look at the voltaic CFSI. I'm just going to call it, but you'll know what I mean, like whatever the benchmark is.
Yeah, it'll say the name. I'm sure.
Voltaic Plaza. I'll just say Plaza, so I don't forget.
So
And then let's do Stark TS and
okay,
Kin TS.
all right, sounds good.
All right, cool.
Um, so when I do those, should I just like try to hit a good score and send that, or should I just like first run or something, or like say fifth run or something, just send it, whatever it is? Like, how should I go about picking which one
Um,
I should send?
Probably when you feel like it's you've worked enough on your issues that it's time for me to like kind of check in with your progress again. Maybe I don't know
Oh, okay.
exactly how fast you'll progress because you're at a high enough level that it might take some time, but where you're actively working on your issues, maybe 3 weeks from now, you'll start to notice that you're getting a lot better, right?
Yeah, that's been my experience before.
Yeah, 3 weeks from now, you're getting a lot better with the issues, and you can send me the VOD.
All right.
And once you feel like you're starting to get better with and you send it through Medify, there's a whole like submission thing. And then after that, I'll put feedback on Medify, and you'll be able to see the feedback with Medify. So like check that because it makes it easier. I can literally like instead of having to timestamp the feedback and type it, I can just make a comment at a specific time when I'm thinking of it while it's super easy. So and then you can watch back and you'll see the comments with the timestamps and all that and can jump
All right.
between timestamps based on comments so you can see what I'm talking about as you're reading it. And other than that, you'll have those scenarios that I'll look through. And then after that, yeah, just pick good VODs. Like pick VODs that show where you're at. You don't have to, if you get like a super lucky, like insane high score, like the Voltaic Plaza only does its long streak, I don't care about that.
Probably doesn't matter yet.
Show a VOD
Yeah.
that actually shows like how your aim normally looks. Like if you have an insane one off one while six targets that feels like a lot of luck, don't show that. Show something that actually represents how you're aiming.
Like an average performance.
Doesn't even have to be average. Like maybe like top like best one out of every 7 to 10 runs, if that makes
Okay.
sense. Like
Yeah,
not the
no, it makes sense.
1 in 100, but like the 1 in 10 or the 1 in 7.
All right.
And if you only do it 10 times, just your best or second best run. You know what I mean? It's up to you.
Yeah.
Just all right, cool. Any other things you want to go over?
Uh, well, like you said, I think
I
past
mean,
times
it's fine. I
I don't
just
want
didn't
to
want to
take up
spend
too
like
much time.
half an hour to 45 minutes on the dynamic when I didn't have to. Like I
Yeah.
go overtime a lot of the time. I don't really have anything after this. It's just the starting a whole new topic and diving deep into it right now. I don't want to get
So,
into, but I'm down to like talk if you have any questions.
okay. Um, if I were like trying to think exactly how I want to ask it. So, it's like when I'm playing ranked in Apex,
Uh huh.
is there hmm, it's weird. So like I feel like a lot of times I can perform very similarly, if not almost like just constantly get better in Kovacs, but then in Apex, like I have on days and I just have off days. Even though that same day I'll go on Kovacs and like perform the same or better than I usually do. So
Possibilities. One, you're having an issue with hold on, let me think about possibilities for a second. One, you're having an issue with just want to compile my thoughts. So one, it's just an issue of aim trainers matching what you're working on in game, right? Like
yeah,
if I mean your VT Plaza score, like we were showing in the extra control sphere, yeah, that'll be cool. But like if you're struggling in game with hitting smaller targets, then it won't really help too much because you have like a lot of wiggle room there. The extra control sphere, you get really good with that, but you're struggling in game with the people like strafing back and forth, like doing short strafe VT Plaza style stuff.
mm-hmm. Yep,
Same thing, but in reverse. So I wouldn't really. So that's the first possibility. Second possibility, it's a mental thing, psychological thing. Like, ever read The Inner Game of Tennis? If you haven't, read it. You're overthinking your aim when you get into game. You're getting overwhelmed. Like, especially a lot of times, overthinkers can do better in aim trainers than in game because in game you actually have things that you have to think about, and all of a sudden you're overthinking. Like, doesn't work anymore, and it's just terrible.
yeah, I could see that.
And then
Okay,
the third possibility is that your aim in game is actually exactly how it is in aim trainers. Everything's translating fine, there's no real issues, but you're
just not playing
just
smart or
playing.
something.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. It was, but you're just dealing with game sense struggles, game sense issues, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm bad at talking without a video script if you haven't noticed already.
Oh, you're fine.
Um, yeah, it's just your game sense issues, like, and all that stuff is just holding you back. I feel like
Yeah, it's probably honestly, I think that is
also you
might
might
be a big part of it.
be dealing with a lot of in-game tension from like stress of wanting to perform well. That's making you tire out and not be able to make precise motions. Um, let's see. For the first issue was the conversion issue. You can kind of work on that with what's it called? The playlist we're working on for you, we'll have a static clicking playlist. That's for the sake of that. It'll do very little for your Apex performance. The
So it'll
small
just help for
tracking
like the
playlist,
score.
huh?
Sorry, it'll just help for like the score, right?
Yeah, it's just for static scores, benchmarks, just because that's like a side quest and it's fun to work on those. Um,
Yeah.
the small tracking will help you with the close range stuff, or not the long range stuff, getting better with
Yep.
those kinds of targets. The evasive target switching will help you with the actual flicks to people in Apex where you slow down and you have a smooth transition so that you don't have to deal with your shaking issues.
Yeah, it's probably a big one for me, I think.
And honestly, even the static, like if we have some I'd wall three targets Pokeball in there and you're working on like flicking without shaking after it, that'll probably help you in Apex too, just because it'll make the evasive target switching easier. Like it'll help with that same issue, just without the tracking afterwards. And then the Aimer 7 reactive playlist, we're working on actually reading the short strafes, not just flicking it to where you see it at one moment, but actually like smoothly aiming at it, adjusting to it, and tracking it, and that'll get
Yeah.
you much more able to hit people who are strafing back and forth. And
Okay.
yeah, and for now, I'd say we can keep the 30-minute Aimer 7 playlist, but if we notice that your small small targets are starting to become a major issue in your aim, then we can pull that off, and or even make that like alternate every other day, and we can look into that in the next session.
Okay. Sounds good.
Anything else?
No, I think we covered most of it.
All right,
That's
perfect.
good.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you
If you have
again for
anything,
your
just
time.
any questions, just DM them to me. I'll
Okay.
see ya. Bye.
All right.
Let's see. Chat. What has chat got to say? What does any questions from anyone? People good in aim trainers, bad in games. Okay, it's a good question. Comments. Questions. Anyone in chat have anything to interact with me with? Yeah, this is definitely a different stream than most people. When I play aim trainers or even play aims, my eyes focus on the target for like 10 seconds, then I lose focus. If you're struggling with dry eyes, you can get like these artificial tear eye drops that help a lot with that. If it's just there's like eye exercise, vision is blurry. I'd look into the dry eye thing, like the artificial eye drop, artificial tear eye drops. Do you have any Kovacs recommendations for tax for 33 centimeters CSGO microflick? I don't really think the sense matters much in this. Um, um, I like raw mouse control to work on the microflicks and raw mouse control extra small, raw mouse control 30% smaller. Um, I also like WPV reflex flick speed flick 75 because it forces you to make the micros fast. Yeah, it happens mostly in aim trainers. Probably because in actual games you're like blinking more. All right. Doesn't look like we have a ton of questions today in chat, so I'm gonna end the stream here and go work on routines for people and stuff. Adios.